2024 Cherry Blossom 10 miler and 5K. We are going to be focusing on the 10 miler, which is on April 7th, 2024. Scrolling down here, this is the main landing page. We have event countdowns. 5K is going to be happening in 42 days from now, and the 10 miler is going to be happening in 43 days on April 7th. These are some general announcements. Highly encourage you to kind of read some of these things along with the highlight video. Now, you can scroll through some of these things. You can see like the About Us, organization history, which is a very, very cool thing. Highly encourage you to do that. There are a lot of sponsors, which again, highly encourage you to do that. And there's also the green team out here. Some media, there's some news and social, volunteers. If you are not going to be racing, make sure you are going to volunteer for this race. Cool little event here that is not so little. Post-race, we have celebrations, we have results, we have awards, visuals, all kinds of cool stuff. Make sure you are checking out the awards area if you are going to be expecting a top position out here. I know they do offer a healthy purse prize, so you might be in a highly competitive field if you are going to be experiencing some purse prize scenarios. So now, schedule. Let's dive into some of the major features out on this year's course here. And I am going to bounce around a little bit. And again, I highly encourage you to utilize this race website page, which we are going to go away from in a minute. So 2024 race week schedule. Friday, April 5th, the National Building Museum, 3 to 8 p.m. The Expo is open at the National Building Museum. Packet pickup for 10 miler, Double Blossom, and 5K closes at 7:45. Not sure what the Double Blossom is, but I can only imagine it's a 10 miler 2 times. That's kind of cool. I'll have to dig into that. Saturday, April 6th. This is where things definitely start to kick off a lot. 9 to 5 p.m. The Expo is open. National Building Museum packet pickup for the 10 miler closes at 4:45 p.m. 10 to 4, we have speakers at the Expo, and you can click there for a full list of speakers. 12 to 4, we have book signings. We have the Freedom Plaza 5K. Metro opens for travel of the race 5 a.m. We have all kinds of cool stuff. Sunday, April 7th, we have Bike Valet open 6 a.m. 10-mile bag check opens at 6:15. Corrals 6:45. The Navy Ceremonial Guard presents the colors at 7:13. Highly recommend you're around for that. Even if you're not racing, cool to attend that. Very, very cool, powerful moment there. Singing of the national anthem by the National Washington Chorus Arts Society, 7:14. Advanced start for elite women, 7:18. We have the Miracle Day Charity Check, 7:25. Wheelchair and Duo Racers, 7:29. 10-mile race starts approximately 7:30 with elite males, and Yellow Wave 1 starts at 7:30, all combined. Wave 2 orange, 7:34. Wave 3 pink, 7:39. 4 is the green, 7:45. Silver, 7:50. Purple, 7:54. And the last 10-mile runner that crosses the finish line will be at the start line at 7:59 a.m. and the 10-mile starting line closes at 8 a.m. So we're going to have a bunch of stuff that happens after that, like awards and things like that. But those are the major things that you need to know schedule-wise leading up to the race. Expo, if you wanted to dig into Expo info packet, pick up all that good stuff, we're going to do it with you here right now. So about packet pickup and all that good stuff, it lists the address for you. Friday, the April 5th, 3 to 8 p.m. Saturday, the 6th, 9 to 5 p.m. Bib closes about 15 minutes. Bib pickup, closes about 15 minutes before the expo over there. So picking up someone else's bib, you may have someone else pick up your bib at the Fitness Expo. It lists some kind of details for you. Make sure you read that if you are interested in picking up someone else's bib. Next up, if you wanted to become an exhibitor, you can learn about how to do that there. Race day. This is a really well done page. We got technology over here. This talks about the app. Make sure you download the app. You can live track. You can watch the leaderboards for the men and the women. You can do a bib lookup. You can do maps of the starting area, road closures, 10-mile, 5K, and kids run courses. all cool stuff. Selfie frames. So the map is highly, highly versatile on race weekend. So I would love for you to actually use that. And let me know what you think about the app. I've never actually used it personally, but I've heard good things. All right, getting to the race, there's all kinds of awesome, awesome tips and tricks to help you get to the race. And there's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be very bottlenecked. It's the Cherry Blossoms. It's going to be a circus getting there. Luckily, you guys are starting early enough where it's not going to be a total major issue. But again, if you are coming from outside the city, highly encourage you to utilize those metro metro stops. Use public transport, all the works to help get you closer to there. We also have 10-mile staging area maps, which are listed right through here. And you can see these are the bibs that we talked about earlier right through here. We have Madison Drive right through here. We have all kinds of important things right here. Excuse me. We also have UPS trucks 10-mile bag checks right through here, and they'll walk you through how to do this. They'll tell you where to go. It might be a little confusing the first time you do it with the tent zone or the no tent zone right here. But after you get through it and get close enough, people are just going to be following in a natural line, and you'll just progress through it, okay? Arrive a little bit earlier than what you want to before a race. There's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be very difficult to move around a little bit. With that, you can also see the 10-mile course maps, which we are going to dive into a little bit. This is our start-finish area right up here, okay? And that is that. So next up is the bag check. Bag check over here, they have great bag check information. The location of the bag check tents in the staging area of the Washington Monument grounds is still being determined right now. So when you do go pick your packet up at the expo, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, make sure you ask where that's going to be. They will definitely have that figured out, and they're definitely going to have that updated. And this might not get updated leading up to the race, but they will be able to provide you more information when you do pick up your packet. They do show you steps to use your bag check system right through here. Please be aware, all checked items must fit in the clear bag and be visible. And again, of course, all belongings are checked and subject to your own risk. All that stuff. They're not going to cover any lost or damaged items, so make sure you're not going to be packing valuables in those bags. All right, so we're almost to that race course profile, which we're going to talk about how to attack it here. But running the race, they talk about porta-johns, they talk about fluids and aid stations over here. Aid station 1, 2.5. Aid station number 2 is at 4.25. Aid station number 3 is at mile 6, and aid station number 4, 7.75. Last aid station coming at mile 8.85. They also have water available at the finish. Water and Gatorade Endurance formula are available in the staging area and on the course aid stations located below that we just said. So you're going to have two different options for you. So before we talk about weather and all that stuff, right, if it's a hot day, and it might be, you never know. If it's a hot day, make sure you are actively cooling yourself off. Take a water, dump it on you. Take the Gatorade Endurance, drink that. You get some electrolytes, some calories with it. It's good stuff. Okay. Race bib numbers talks about all of this cool things. The 10-mile starting time. All right, we already talked about it up there. But for the about 30 elite women, they're going to have a special start time of 7:18 on the 7th, and the wheelchair race will start at 7, let's call it 7:29, 7:30, with the first wave of the 10-mile race starting at 7:30 a.m., which I believe is that elite men and everybody else that we talked about. The final wave is going to start at 7:53, and the starting line will close at 8 a.m. sharp. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. They're usually pretty good and pretty tight about security. Okay. They have already seated you over there. I don't know if you can change your wave, but if you think you need to change your wave, email them, give them a call, and just go through that there. Okay. This also talks about the safety rules, no cheating, all of the normal things. Drug test. Whoo, might want to think about that. Some of our highly competitive people, just note that is an option for people out there, and they will be testing out there. So now let's dive into the course here a little bit, shall we? So this is our start and finish area, and we're going to loop up and around over the Memorial Bridge before we curl up by the Rock Creek Parkway, hit a turnaround point, and then we're going back down almost to Haynes Point entrance over there, but then we curl back up and we run back on ourselves. This is mile 5. This is our halfway point, believe it or not. A lot of people don't realize that in the moment, but this is mile 5 right through here. And then what we do is we curl down and we run all the way around Haynes Point back up to our start and finish line, which is right up there. Now, as you can see on the map, or I'll zoom in here, we have water, med aid, and toilets at most of these aid stations out here, okay? So the medical aid is going to be there if you need it. Same thing with the water / Gatorade Endurance that we just found out. So you should be utilizing all of those water stops for sure. Now, because we've had a couple of athletes race this in years past, this is typically what the course is going to look like right here. Okay, this is the bridge. You're going to be running up over the bridge, and then you're going to have a little soft spot right where that turnaround is, running back up and over, dropping down here. This is that Rock Creek Parkway. And again, remember, mile 5, this is our halfway section over here before we go back to Haynes Point, back up to our start / finish line over there. So what that means for you is a couple of different things that we're going to highlight right through here, right off the bat. This first couple of miles, this 2.5 mile marker right through here, this is a very, very common place for athletes to totally overdo it. And I usually say this in every video, and I never get tired of saying it because it just keeps on happening. Watch out. People are going to be going crazy because there is elite waves here. People get all in their head, and they try to run as fast as possible for these first 2.5 miles. And the elevation from the bridge really hits them hard, especially when that ends. I'm running on the Rock Creek Parkway right through here because this is a flatter section. And again, our the elevation gain for this one is, I believe, 92 feet. And I've checked it through a couple of runners over the years. They're going to average about 90 to 100 feet of elevation gain on this course, depending on how the GPS data is kind of coming through. But going back here, this bridge kind of plays big games with people. And when you do hit that Rock Creek Parkway, that's that first point of, oh my goodness, I better just back things down big time. I went way too hard. So you got to be very careful coming out of the gate here. People are going to be revved up, and it might not be a bad idea to let some people go and let them set the pace a little bit. And it's going to be crowded. It's going to be very, very crowded for those first couple of miles. And you're just going to have to get through it. Don't overdo it. Don't get too crazy with it. Run your pace right here because the main race starts right in this section here. And then when you're running back through the DC area, if I can get this map over here, that is this section right through here off of Independence Ave. When you get to this point in time, right here, this is going to be where your race really starts to kick off. This point right here, mile 5, about half a mile before this point, that's going to be your spot to kind of start to just really turn the keys and really rev the engine on people, okay? Once you get through to Haynes Point over here, it's happier days, but at the same coin here, if we can scroll down, once we do hit this spot, you open yourself up to wind around this section over here. It's going to be blowing off the Potomac. It could be going this way. It could be going this way. But as the cyclists know, or the runners know, who usually hang out at this spot, it's a little more open to the elements, and it's going to be a little bit windier out here. So expect your effort levels to rise exponentially once you get to the point, especially when you get further down over here. And that's just going to be a product of where the wind is coming from, what the temperature is, how hard you've gone before that, and all that good stuff. But I would expect you to battle a little bit more once you get to Haynes Point. And the last big thing about Haynes Point is that it's going to be more of a mental battle, too. I mean, it's going to be nice running along these cherry blossoms, and that's going to be really cool. But after a certain point, once you get to these miles 6, 7, 8, 9, right through here, it really starts to thin out compared to what you did for those first 5 miles over here. And it's really a mental slog coming back on Haynes Point right through here. So stay mentally sharp over here before you make this right hand kick up to our finish line over there before you really come to the finish. Now, last big thing about Haynes Point. A lot of people, because they once they get to mile 5, right, they assume no big deal. The finish line is just in sight right there. I just got to do a quick loop around Haynes Point. No big deal. It's not so quick out there. And if you see, we have 1, 2, and 3 aid stations out there. So it's a hefty little jog. Don't be afraid to use those aid stations. A lot of people forget to utilize those aid stations, and it comes back to haunt them big time in this race, especially when they make that right-hand turn. This is almost always the point where people just crater, they cramp, they walk, and they have to literally walk the last half a mile or quarter mile, and it totally crushes their time, right? Pace yourself adequately on a course like this. Run your race here, and because of the, let's call it, lack of elevation, or just barely any elevation, you will be able to run your race, and you are going to be able to kind of play around with things a little bit. Remember, if you're a power user, your power is going to be a little bit higher in that first couple of miles. You have to run up a bridge a couple of times. You're going to be around a couple more people at the beginning, dodging in and out. It's going to be a little more sporadic, but you need to kind of rein that in. Power is going to be a little bit more steady when you're running around Haynes Point, and this is going to be a great time to kind of watch those numbers. If you're a pace user, your pace should be very steady around here, or at least a little bit higher, than the first couple of miles out on this race course. Okay. With that, I hope everybody has a great 2024 experience at the Cherry Blossom 10 miler, one of the best races around, especially since it's in the DC area, the DMV area. And good luck to everybody this year, and I will talk to you guys later.